it's good to be with you again. We're going to have another discussion video today that I think those who are new to selling online or considering it for the first time might want to think about. Because a big question I'm asked a lot of times is, should I sell at Etsy? Should I sell at eBay? Should I sell off of my own website? You know, what would be best? I know Javi, she uses a little site called Go Imagine. She does okay there. And I think the fees are real low there too, aren't they, Javi? But, you know, you can look it up. It's goimagine.com. But the main three are Etsy, eBay, and your own website. So we're going to discuss each of those. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my history online so you get a feel for things and how things have really changed a whole lot in the time since I got on. Because I got on the internet in May of 1997. That's a while ago. In fact, pretty soon that'll be, how long? I can't even, that's a lot, like going on 30 years or something. So, I mean, I've been on here a lot. I've seen a lot happen, a lot of changes. And honestly, the way that the different platforms have things now, it's the easiest I've ever seen to deal with. And they really have your back too, like when it comes to search engine optimization. You'll hear that said a lot, SEO. A lot of different things, you know, people are debating too if that's necessary, but that's another subject. But here's what happened to me. Okay, so when I got online, I got into a listserv group, which I don't think there are any anymore, but it's like a group, like we have Facebook groups now. This was all powered by email, and it went through a bigger site called TIAS, the Internet, it stood for TIAS, the Internet Antique Store, something like that. So anyway, we had a lot of email going back and forth, and it was fun because a lot of the people that I talked to there were people I already knew, which is, you know, that was really fortunate for me when I came online, because I had sold through the mail using the Antique Trader Wheatlink, and nobody does that anymore. But I had done that way back in the day, and I had a lot of customers, and a lot of them were on there. So when I got on, I was like, hey, Brenda Sue, hey, yeah, you know. So I like had friends waiting for me there, people I knew. So that made it nice. So when I got on, one girl who was pretty savvy about websites and had a nice website offered me a little space inside her website, like a page or two. And I could set up a little supply store. Well, you know, we didn't have carts and things done, you know. You just kind of put down, well, I want this, this, and this, and get it for you, you know. So I sold things like sunshine claws and repair stones and little tools and stuff like that. And my goal back then was to make $100 a day off that little page. And I did. Pretty easily. Now it's a little bit harder now to make $100 a day. Javi's over here saying, yeah. But back then it was because I was traveling in a certain lane with people I knew who were doing vintage jewelry, and that's just kind of a whole different setup than, you know, crafts. So anyway, I had things they needed. They didn't know where to get them, so it all worked out. So I had a page inside her site. And then in about 1999, I went to TIAS, and I got my own website. And I remember my setup fee was $400. Whoa. And I was on a dial-up AOL that I had to pay for by the minute. So you can only imagine how much it cost me to set that website up. I mean, beaucoup dollars. But then I finally did. And things got better and better until I was able to, you know, get away from the dial-up thing and do what I do now, which is Comcast. So anyway, that's what it was for me. But I did pretty good at TIAS. I did. I sold my supplies, and I sold, that's when I started to sell brass stampings. And back then I looked for the ones that looked like the Miriam Haskell stuff because the people in the antiques groups were always looking for stuff like that. And so I would sell them, and then just in a raw state, not plated. And then I sold vintage jewelry. And I stayed there for quite a while, I think till like 2003, 2004, whatever. But by that time, it kind of was putting out, wasn't doing so hot. But I also went on eBay almost as soon as I got online. It was really, really easy back then. They didn't have all the rules. In fact, they didn't charge you, I don't think, anything back then. Kind of like in the beginning, PayPal didn't charge you anything. I don't know if you guys even remember that, but they didn't for about a year. But anyway, in time, though, eBay got more and more difficult because they didn't know what the hey they were doing, and neither did we. So they're just trying to find their way, and they're always making a ton of rules and making a change. Like I had to take my eBay store down, I'm going to say 4 times, no, it was 3 times. The whole thing. And I had about 2,000 items. And I had to reword all the descriptions because I said something about I had items under $1. And that was prohibited then. They changed it. So I'd take it down. Then there was another thing, was a little bit of verbiage. And it wasn't just me, it was a whole bunch of people. And so they were insisting we take down the whole thing and redo it. There were no bulk tools, there were no nada. You just had to take it all down. I remember when Jordan first came here to work, that's all he did, was fix eBay listings because it was getting ridiculous. And then their fees went up and up and up and up. And I didn't keep check on it good enough because I was making a lot of money. A lot of money was coming in through eBay, and I wasn't careful enough to see how much was I really spending over there. And I ran my credit card bill up, and I'm saying, hey, well, about that time, Etsy had come out. In 2007, I think it was. And there were a lot of people coming on eBay to buy stuff to take to their Etsy shop. And they were giving me my price. Taking it over to Etsy and selling it for 3-4 times more. Now that won't happen anymore. That was just how it was then. People are too smart for that now. And there was nothing wrong with it, nothing wrong with it. But people just they know more about what prices should be. It's not the first time they saw brass stampings and all that stuff. I'm sorry, I'm so hoarse today. I really don't know why, but I'm trying to speak over it. So anyway, I decided then, in 2011, to dump eBay after 14 years of being what they call a power seller there, and I went to Etsy. And it took a little bit of time for me to find my berth there, to find my customer there, because I wasn't allowed to take my customer list with me from eBay. They cut that off. So I was kind of left to go through old orders and try to get email addresses and set up my own, email program where I could contact the people and let them know, hey, I'm at Etsy now. But after about a year or so, it really started to do well. And I learned something right then that you're going to want to keep in mind. If you sell online, however you sell online, but in particular Etsy, you have to have new product that you're uploading to your website all the time. If you go in there and you're going to start a site, and you're going to say, oh, I'm going to put 20 things in my store. Okay, I'm done. I'm going to see how it goes. It doesn't work. I mean, maybe for somebody, but it never worked for me. And a lot of people that I knew, too, they always said that's the trick. You've got to have really good pictures, and you got to upload them. Now they have it so that you can make little videos and stuff, which I don't do for lack of time because of what I sell. It's not necessary because I sell supplies there. But anyway, you could do that, and you can have like up to, what is it? How do you make 5 pictures, 6 pictures? Remember, it's a bunch.
8.
Not just one. It used to be just 3 you could have, but now it's a whole bunch. So there are a lot of things about Etsy that are very, very positive. You will see that if you go to Etsy And you learn to use your back door, which is the back side of the site where the business side of the site goes, where you do your uploads and take care of your customers and all that. And Etsy has it mapped out pretty well. For that matter, eBay does now too. It's very much like Etsy. But you'll see that there are, for every listing, you'll see that there are 13 keywords that they want you to list twice. One has to do with the product and one has to do with the manufacturer of it, something like that. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't upload things here much anymore. Diane does that. But there are two. And this much I can tell you. Use all of them. Every last one of those descriptors in that section, the 13, use every last one of them. And what you need to do is you need to think like a customer. What would a customer be looking for? Gift for her, gift for him, red, color, just a whole bunch of stuff like that. And you got to use them all because that is your site SEO, your search engine optimization, and it's built into Etsy. So many things are built into Etsy that with your own website might not be, depending on what platform you go with. And it will be more work for you to be found because, if you're not on the right platform or you're not, using your keywords, if you're not doing organic SEO, which that's another thing altogether, you're never going to get found. Now they're saying that's even changed. And they're saying that for like a seller like me, I need to do Google advertising. That's more important than SEO. So we're going to have to figure out a way to do that as soon as things pick up around here. But anyway, Etsy, eBay, do Etsy. If you do handcraft, if you sell vintage, if you sell supplies, whatever, do Etsy. If you use the right keywords that you upload new every day, and if you belong to a couple little collecting groups or selling groups or whatever, Etsy has a whole mess of them people have set up where you can go in and post your stuff for sale. So people will see. You got to stay busy with this. You have to market. Put on your Instagram, everything. Any place you can put something about you. If you can do an email newsletter, that's super good. I don't know if Etsy offers you one or not. I think they used to do MailChimp. But I don't know anymore. Do they do that?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
They still use it.
I use
email.
Constant Contact. But if you're just starting out, you're probably not going to want to do Constant Contact because it's not hard to use. It's just expensive. They offer things that others don't. So for us, at our stage of the game, there are certain things that we have to spend more for. But you, in the beginning, find a way to make it as simple as you can. And so I tell everybody, if you're going to start selling online, sell on Etsy first. Now, you're going to hear a lot of stuff, Etsy, they charge too much in fees. Well, go to eBay, they charge twice as much. Oh, Etsy, you can't be found there. Well, if you use the right keywords and you pound it and you do your marketing and you upload new product every day and are a little bit patient, they'll find you. And then when you get customers coming in, you got to keep them. You got to work on keeping your customer. And that's another whole subject. What can you do to keep your customer? I know a lot of you, maybe if you've bought from Etsy, you've seen the customers send little gifts and they do, little wrapping. They make you feel real special when you get it. Your stuff, people like that, that means something to people. So you need to consider that too. But if you're going to sell online, I would say the best place for you to be found and the easiest place for you to get it set up would be Etsy. Now you might say, well, I heard it should be a website. I should have my own website. I should have my own domain. You can have your own domain and put it on Etsy. So you don't have to have your own special web selling space to use a domain name. And it's good. If you want to go ahead and put it on your Etsy, that's good. Get started using it. Take one out. They're not expensive. I get mine from hover.com, hover.com. You can check it out. They're not terribly expensive. You have to register your domain every year or two, like that. And it is very important, once you do take out a domain name, that you get in there and you register it on time, because if you do not, somebody can take your name. And I know people have tried to take my name many, many, many times. So I have to stay on top of that and watch it doesn't, expire. But the website is more complicated. It takes more tech savvy to do it. A lot of people are doing Shopify sites now, which there are very simple Shopify sites. And there are Square sites too that are not too bad. You could probably say, what are some of the other ones, Javi? There's a bunch of them. Wix, I think, is one. And GoDaddy is another one. There are a bunch of them. We like Shopify. Javi's been real busy making us a new website at Shopify, because if you want to comment to this, Javi, you go ahead. She knows more about it than I do. But there are a lot of free apps in Shopify that are going to help you out a whole lot, that other websites charge you an arm and a leg for, like where I'm at right now, Evolution.com. Don't even consider going there. And I hate to say that because I don't like to trash anybody, but I've had a lot of trouble with them. It's cost me a lot of money, and business has not been good for me at all, and they don't stay up with the new things. Shopify is on top of it. Now, will it always be in the top 3? I don't know. Because whenever I got my Illusion site, it was. But not no more, like they say. So Shopify is also, I think, one of the more reasonable sites to sell from, too. A lot of people sell from TikTok these days. That's up to you. I just couldn't get into it. Maybe I missed the boat. I don't know. But I'm happy to get my Shopify site, because if I decide I want to do TikTok, it can integrate and make my life a little easier. Also, I can be a YouTube partner, and I can sell on YouTube from site Shopify. So if you decide one day you want to do a website, then Shopify is where I recommend you at this time. This is August 2025. But it can change. So what you should do is, if you see this down the line, say in a few years, and it's not completely current, look up on Google and find out who the top 3 are and go with one of them. But I do like Shopify so far, and we will be opening there pretty soon. But that's like the last thing you need to do. Myself, I could never set up a website by myself. I've been present, and I assisted setting up about 7 websites since I started in '97. So it's not my first rodeo. I mean, I know what I want. I know what's necessary. I know what to look for. Did we get this? Did we get that? So when we do, go over to Shopify and turn on the lights, so to speak, I know what to look back and see, did we get everything, and get it in there. But that's what I would do, but not at first. If you are new and just considering doing it, start out with an Etsy website. Start out with about 35 items in there. Take excellent pictures. So if you're not sure how to take pictures, that's another subject. We have some videos on my channel here that can help you learn to take some decent pictures. We just use iPhones here, and they make great pictures. And video, too. But you do have to have really clear pictures. People will not tolerate a bad picture anymore. When I started out with my little one-page site inside somebody else's page, I had no pictures, and I had no pictures for a long time, and I was not the only one. A lot of us didn't have pictures. We just had word descriptions and expected people to buy from that, and they did. That won't happen now. People don't buy that way. You gotta show them. So get good pictures, upload about 30, 35 things to start with, and then add to it every day, 1 or 2 or 3 things. Just make it a point to maybe take a day and do a bunch of pictures, and then every day upload 2 or 3 or more. If you can do 10, that's better. But have new stuff on there all the time, and be sure you get all your keywords in your back door, the business end of things. And that's pretty much what I had to say on that subject. Yeah, you need to do Etsy first, and don't worry about it if people say, oh, Etsy's dying, Etsy's this and that. You'll find out most of the time those sellers, people that say that, they're not working their site very hard. They don't understand that to have an online store is a lot of work. I've had helpers helping me for as long as I can remember. But we had bigger websites too. So doesn't mean necessarily you need a helper. You just need to stay on it. You need to market it. You need to make sure that you get it out there. And I think Etsy does a little bit of Google advertising for you too. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure because I see it coming through in my back door. I'll say, oh, this sale came from Google. So anyway, that's good. So that's it. Of the 3, Etsy, eBay, and your own website, do Etsy. Don't listen to the talk about Etsy's too saturated, Etsy's no good. It's not. It is what you make it. Can you make money there still? Yes, you can. It'll be slow sometimes. Other times it'll be busy. If you're going on Etsy right now, get it loaded up and keep it loaded up, because we're going into fall holiday, and that's when things count. Okay, so I hope that helps. Please leave your comments and your observations. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I'm just saying I did 14 years at eBay. I've done 14 years now at Etsy. And I've done 28 years now doing my own websites. And so you can't spend that much time without knowing a thing or two. But you never know it all. And you can always learn more. So keep your ear to the ground and keep learning. And you might have some really nice success at Etsy. You might be really happy with it. Some people do well, and they're the ones who work at it. So, you guys have a good day. Leave me comments. Let's have a conversation. Let's have some dialogue. That's how we do in the comments, because I answer everyone. Okay? So, y'all have a good day, and I look forward to hearing what you have to say by reading your comments under the video. Okay? So, bye-bye.